Thank you, Viraj. Thank you, Marian, for joining me in launching the South Africa Mediation Circle. But Viraj, what really happened was that I was putting Marian on the spot and I told her, you are the one who's going to tell us about the World Mediation Circle. And she said, I know nothing about it. So now I've thought someone else should tell me about it. So Viraj, what do you know about it? What is all this all about? Please. And of course, you can tell us about yourself also.
That's the second part is the difficult part. I don't really like talking about myself, but the first part is very simple for me, only because Vikram, you and I have known each other for so many years. We actually met during COVID when we were attending the same webinars together. We were both attendees at it, and then you launched this forum and this platform and your YouTube channel, and everything just grew in the last few years. You have been growing and growing. And I can see, I mean, I knew you when you started, when you literally had zero, when you started at ground zero. And now you've grown this into a platform of uniting mediators throughout the world. I don't think anyone has ever rejected your invitation outright, because you have created this, and I would say circle, merely because the earth is a sphere, or however people want to describe it, because you've brought in people from all over the world. And eventually, I think you've now had to compartmentalize it to countries or regions or continents, because there's just so many people who want to contribute to the conversation. And I think the beauty of it, and Marian, I must tell you, I see Indrani's joined as well, is there's no limitation to how long we speak for, because it could go for an hour, it could go for 2 hours. I think
the record, Viraj, is the record is 4.5 hours without a break.
Okay, 4.5 hours. But I think by that time we'll be going into I think that'll be going into close to midnight for you, and sleeping time for dinner time for us. But Vikram, and I think to understand what the mediation circle is that you've brought people full circle from where they started to now contributing their expertise, their experiences on this platform that is recorded, so that others can learn from it, and to grow from learning from others' experiences, to not only learn from mistakes, to also learn tips or how to improve themselves. So you have created this wonderful platform for all of us to just say, hey, Vikram, like I did. And I said, hey, Vikram, I'd like to talk about bring South Africa into the circle. And you said, sure, when? And I'm like, oh, okay, you were like, now. So we managed to find a date and a time. And I think that's the beauty about knowing you, is you make time to promote and endorse the practice of mediation, and you bring it full circle from start to beginning, start to where we are right now in getting everybody involved.
Wow, Viraj. I mean, lovely words. I can't say anything. Okay, event closed, nothing else required. We're done. Oh, thank you, Viraj. They're very nice. And tell me, Tracy, just give me 1 second. Let me just say what Viraj was saying. It all started with Viraj participated in that symposium. I have to boast about that symposium, Viraj, because that was the symposium #1 on mediation in our culture and traditions. 97 speakers, 45 countries, and maybe at that time that wasn't really happening. Maybe I don't know what the situation these days is, but that was quite an event. It went on for 2 months. So that was what was interesting, and Viraj was part of that. So that was really nice. But we must say hi to Tracy Lay. Tracy Lay, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you, Vikram? Hello, Marian and Viresh. Nice to see you all.
Yeah, now how that works is like the living room situation. And someone walks in, we must say hi to them. Indrani has walked in, but she's slid into some corner and she doesn't want to show us herself. Indrani, please come in.
Vikram, it's my sister's birthday today, so I'm out and about, and I'm just trying to slot myself in for a few minutes. But as always, it's almost like Viraj has hijacked my brain, because she articulated so beautifully everything that you are doing. So lovely to see you again.
Yes, we would love to see you, but okay, nice of you to come in. and haven't seen you for a long time. So Indrani, we have to also, you have to tell us what you've been up to. All that also has to happen.
Yes, for sure. In fact, we're coming to New Delhi to do some training soon.
Very nice. So definitely we're going to
Yep.
see.
I'll talk to you about that offline during the week. Yeah. So I'm still busy with the Americans and the Mediator, Beyond Borders International stuff, working ridiculous hours and so on. But as always, it's an absolute pleasure to see you and to be recharged by the kind of kuspa you have for mediation.
Wow. Thank you. But everyone is also, I don't know whether you know everyone, but everyone will introduce themselves also. So you'll, if you don't know them, you'll get to know them. And we must
thank you, Vikram.
We have to say hi to Eugene. If I look, whenever I don't pronounce any name properly, please tell me, because I'm not the best on names. So yes, Eugene, you want to say hi to us?
Hi guys, namaste Vikram.
Namaste.
Nice meeting you online for the first time. To all the others that I've met. Hi guys, happy to be here.
Thank you for joining us. Now, Tracy, Viraj definitely has said very nice things. Putting you on the spot also, what is this World Mediation Circle all about? Because you said you watched some recordings. So and I don't want to keep repeating myself, because I will sometimes I feel I repeat myself a little too much. And so I don't want to do that. So what is all this about, Tracy?
Okay, so I think that what we are doing here as a South African group is for South Africa is to talk and to create a platform where South African mediators, or anyone who wants to be a mediator, feels that they're a mediator, can come, and we're going to meet, and we're going to have an opportunity to just connect, because we work in isolation. And so what I've seen, Vikram, that you've been doing is that you've done it with the other countries, and it's just so fascinating. I'm wondering what our day is going to be of the month, but I'm not going to get ahead of myself. But that is essentially what you're for now, for the launches of the country. And World Mediation Circle, as I understand it, is really just to open up mediation. So we take away the hierarchy, we take away the ego, and we just allow people to come in and be themselves, as you said, living room, and have an opportunity to talk and grow this thing that we love doing. How's that?
Nice. Yeah, perfect. Look, so I've been saying that mediation is like the blind man and the elephant. Everyone has their view. World Mediation Circle is also going to be the same thing. People will have certain aspects that they will look at from there, like you said, getting people together, getting people who are into mediation in South Africa, who have that mindset, bringing them together. But the focus will be that development at the grassroots level, where we are identifying those people with that mindset and bringing them in. And that's that's the objective, that we need very large numbers, and those very large numbers are only going to be out there when they're already out there, but putting them into I would say that's a structure without a structure kind of thing. So it's not formal at any point of time, but it is still a circle to that extent that people are coming in together. But Eugene, I'm not going to say too much, that Eugene also tell us. Hi, Lisa. We can't hear you.
Hi, everyone.
How are you?
I'm well.
Look, everyone hasn't introduced themselves yet. So that's going to happen. Right now, I'm putting everyone on the spot, and you're also part of it, asking them, what is this World Mediation Circle all about? So please just be prepared, because Eugene is going to tell us right now, and then you're coming in. Well, Marian said she doesn't know anything about it. So blank slate there. So we can paint anything on that side. Yes, Eugene, what do you think? What is...
In short, for me, it is a collaborative effect. Great minds coming together and sharing ideas and collaborating, because just like Tracy Lee said, we all work in silos, we all work in isolation. So it's good to share, because it's a mediation profession is a lonely profession, because it's only you and your clients, and to collaborate with your peers and with colleagues. I think that is the whole idea of bringing it all together, to be unified as a mediation profession.
Absolutely. So like I said, that's definitely an important part. That's why reflective practice circles are also being launched in every circle so that everyone can come together, share their experiences, learn from each other. And like you said, lonely profession. So you're not really talking to people about what you're doing, but here people who will understand what you're going through, just bringing those people together. So perfect. So that's also an important part. Yes, Lisa, what is this World Mediation Circle all about?
Okay, for me, it represents a global effort, as Eugene said. We don't come together. I think maybe lawyers network a lot better than mediators. I think we're all just solving problems for people in our little corners of the world, and yes, making a difference. But I think if we harness everything together, then we're going to have we are really going to create this resolution revolution. And of course, being within the larger circle, the world circle, I mean, mediators I mean, we're always evolving, we're always learning from clients, situations, and from each other. So I think drawing from a pool of international colleagues, and the reflective practice circles, I think that's really, it's good kind of maintenance for them, for mediators, and bringing all our international nuances, cultural nuances. For me, it kind of puts the fire under my feet, as I said in our general meeting, because I really want to get on board properly with mediation. And so I think this makes more of an impact than just being in our little corners and doing everything. So I'm all in.
And creating circles. Everyone has to create circles. That's the important part. And Lisa is also, she hasn't put that part in her name. She's also law mom. So law mom has all these baby lawyers out there who are all going to be part of doing things. So that's going to happen. But Bosiki is there, but because I don't know whether the video is not coming on, whatever. So Bosiki, at any point of time you want to say something, please feel free to jump in. So what I'm going to do is, look, I mean, this is going to be repetition for people who watched the earlier videos, but please bear with me. I won't take time this time. I have done this enough times, so I'll do this really fast. What I do is, that's why I open the website so that I don't have to take you through too much. You can have a look at it there, but information is on mediatorvikram.com. So this is what we are doing today: launch of the South Africa Mediation Circle. And just a little section on, I've tried to put down my thoughts in relation, I mean, kind of a brief maybe, but I was telling someone yesterday that this is so simple what I'm saying, but it becomes so complicated sometimes to maybe explain it. So it's the simplest thing that we are doing. Of course, mediation as a definition, I put it down there, taken from the Singapore Convention, but the words in italics are words which are missing there. And for me, these are important. So voluntary, informal, and trusted person. But this is where, I mean, this is the moral values, principles, and ethics-based humanistic approach. That's the way I look at it. And heart, soul, spirituality. People who haven't been part of my events may have not heard it, but people who've been part of my events, they must have heard me repeat this so many times. But for me, those are important aspects. There was a symposium on heart, soul, spirituality, and mediation. So please, you can watch the recordings. All those links are somewhere on the website. I'll take you through that if you want. But this is one part. That's the first part. But what are we doing? I mean, people resolve disputes, heal and strengthen relationships. Good. But then what is the circle? I mean, this is a community, a safe space for conversations, dialogue, collaboration, and consensus building without debates, activism, or advocacy. So those areas definitely exist, and they will exist, and a lot of them exist with a lot of vested interests and everything. This space, these spaces are not created, I feel, because it doesn't serve anyone's vested interest to bring people together for a nice conversation. How does anyone benefit from it? So maybe those things don't get developed, but this community that comes together will have a role to play in their local, national, global areas, because I just feel that when good people come together and there's good dialogue, there is, of course, consensus building is something which will happen as we go along on issues and everything. But at least that starting point, let's get these good human beings together. So now I've said qualification, Good, first thing, good human being. So let's get all good human beings in. What role they will play, we'll decide. We'll see how it goes. So good human beings, first criteria. And then the larger objective, redefine politics at the local, national, and global level, and move away from the colonial legacy of divide and rule towards consensus building with mediators as leaders. So circle, I'm calling them mediation circles because this is a kind of a space where mediators will have an important role to play. So yes, we have peace circles and all that does happen. Okay, that definitely also has a role to play. But because a third person coming in can help in resolution of conflicts, that's one part. But those people with that mindset will have a larger role to play. And that is what we are going to be looking at. So this is the roadmap, but we are right now at the first stage in this case where we are creating the circle. So as we go along, everyone will reach out to schools, colleges, organizations, communities, and let's just get the first. What are we saying first? First thing we're saying is, please tell us who those people are who help people resolve fights, disputes, conflicts, misunderstanding, miscommunication, whatever language you want to use, depending on whom you're talking to. Because I would not use the word disputes with school children, maybe, but fights, maybe they understand. So we are starting point. Let's find those people who have the mediator mindset. So first thing, and then if you don't have, or if you don't have them, we're creating a circle in a school that doesn't make sense for me, because those people will have a role to play because it is the mediation circle. So that's the first step. Those are the people with the mediator mindset, no qualification, training, experience of the kind that, I mean, yes, they're experiencing it all the time because it's a way of life for them, but not as you understand that, okay, now you've done so much work, you have to show your experience, nothing like that. And then you have the peacemakers, because bringing people together is also a skill we need for as part of the circle. So people who have that skill, and then everyone else, qualification, first qualification, good human being, and then you want to, of course, sit together and resolve things. So that's the broad idea. I tried to do it as fast as I could. So I think I won't go any further on this. You have a section on the various mediation circles which have been launched, and on a day-to-day basis in the year, what is happening, what's coming up. So please, so this is what the general idea is. Now, if there are any, of course, what I'll do is, let me take you through the circles which have been launched so that you have the idea of the broader idea. And then after that, all your thoughts. I am going to keep quiet and I'll hear your thoughts on it, how we can take it forward, how you feel about it. Is that sounds okay? Not that I'm seeing your thumbs up, but I'm assuming everyone's okay with it. So the larger world mediation circle, all circles part of the larger whole. And then, okay, so country-wise. Okay, let me go through this country-wise. This comes later. So first thing is country-wise. So you have the India circle. Then you have circles like this. So your World Indigenous Peoples Mediation Circle. So wherever you will read World, International, Global, we are going to have those circles in South Africa. And then down to as local as we can go. So if South Africa Indigenous Peoples Mediation Circle will come up. Then we have, okay, the Reflective Practice Circle for South Africa will develop it, but every circle should have that so that people can come together at every level, at local, national, global. Then the commercial mediation, people practicing in this area, please come together there. The sustainable development goals, to achieve those goals, mediation, mediators have an important role to play. So one, the larger circle for the sustainable development goals. Then for each goal, we'll have a circle. And I'll tell you about the gender equality mediation circle that we've launched, but we'll do the others. So that's the broad area. Refugee, organizational, every organization to have a mediation circle, every organization to have a mediator. Let's create work for mediators. That's the most important part that we have to do. Okay, so then we have family, every family to have a mediation circle. That's the that's the objective. And then this is a game that Massimiliano created for people to experience conflict resolution without teaching them. So then we have the school and the college. Then we have the environmental, climate change, natural disaster, sustainability. Indrani will tell us about some of these areas that she's going to help us work in. And then we have the issue-based, so Israel, Palestine. Similarly, there'll be local issues, there'll be national issues, there'll be global issues. We'll create that. But idea for us is that we can first have to bring in those people who can actually get in various points of view into the discussion, and to be able to have a very objective discussion on issues. So then country-wise, this is to show you the web. So this is a college, part of the Global College Mediation Circle, part of the India Mediation Circle, part of the World Mediation Circle. So that's how the web functions. So that one on the Global College Mediation Circle level, they're also going to be interacting. But we'll also launch an India College Mediation Circle. So that's also going to happen. So there'll be web. Artificial intelligence, really important. Let artificial intelligence be the mediator instead of programming human beings to become mediators. We'll make you a mediator in 40 hours. Let artificial intelligence do that work. We'll talk about it. Lisa's smiling, so she's gone through one session with me on that. Okay, so then there, of course, country-wise. So, and then we have, okay, this is the community I live in, so Global Community Mediation Circle. That's Kenneth's latest book we discussed. For shows are not really happening now, so it's largely only launches and the gatherings of circles. Okay, so basically now it's all country-wise. So you have the launch, then you have the gatherings. So they will do that, and then you have, this is that college. Okay, so okay, this is a gathering. Perfect. So I think you've got the idea. This was the one I was talking about, the Global Gender Equality Mediation Circle. So similarly, we can have a South Africa Gender Equality Mediation Circle, or other goals also. And then we have the gatherings, Poland, Mexico, Zambia. I think that's about, they're all country-wise. This was that one particular day we had all this happening. And then I realized that actually I can do lots of gatherings on the same day. We'll use breakout rooms on the same day. We'll have lots, we can have different circles having their whole, because look, language is not a barrier here. So the Ecuador Reflective Practice Circle we had, I said, your official language is Spanish. I put on Google Translate, I'll understand what I can understand, but you don't have to waste time even translating for me. Oh, that was the school mediation circle. So that was the Kazakhstan school mediation circle. And yeah, okay. Oh. The World Mediation Circle gathering happens on the last Wednesday of the month. The two of them, one at 1:30 India time, the other at 8:30 India time. So Zoom link remains the same. So please, you can all come in for that. And then we have South Africa. So that's what we are doing. Perfect. I've done my job. Now, Marian, after all this, is there something that you feel now you can talk about the World Mediation Circle?
Well, I think it's just really impressive that you've managed to establish this around the world. Congratulations. It seems like a really useful process. Yeah, I mean, from my perspective, I'm involved in a couple of, I guess you could call them circles of mediators locally in South Africa, and one in the UK specifically. And I mean, I think it's extremely valuable for mediators to be able to engage with peers and debrief with peers and deal with all the challenges that the industry faces, but also that one faces as individuals. So it seems like a really useful initiative, and it would be, I guess, really nice to broaden it out to involve other people as well in the sector.
Yeah, because one, like you were saying about peers coming together, that's going to be one part of it. But now the creation of circles at every school, college, organization, community, that's what we have to work on, which I get your thoughts. Virash is going to give us her thoughts a little. Looks always going to be putting you on the spot, Virash. So please. So it's always going to be that.
I always say to my friends when they do this, it's like having that friend that throws you under the bus because, you know, they can. because they're a trusted, loyal friend. I can do this to you.
Yes.
Of course, Vikram, anytime. Yeah, well, and I think, I don't know, I'm glad everybody's here because, Vikram, shall we share that when we initially started the South African component of the circle, it was just me. And, you would ask me what's going on in South Africa, and I would tell you, and every time something happened, I would update you on it. And what is really great is that to open the circle, to have everyone that's here be here to contribute to the discussion. And I think that's where we can then divide ourselves into these smaller circles where we're here in South Africa. We can include more people in the conversations by saying to them, listen, guys, there's a global platform we can introduce you to, or you can be a part of, who knows what's happening in South Africa. And I think that helps mediators who are being, who are up and coming. Well, in my case, I really want the universities to start teaching the concept of mediation so that students can understand, look, there are different forums of dispute resolution, and mediation is one of it. It's not alternate to litigation. It is part of dispute resolution. So, helping them understand that it's not something you go and get training for and then suddenly you're this mediator who knows everything. I can tell you, I still don't know everything. I'm still learning about it. And I learn every time I hear other mediators speak. So these circles are important, starting from ground level, starting from the communities and the students and the children. So yes, I'm all for all these communities of learning that you are creating, Vikram.
And the idea is always going to be, and again, people who've been part of whatever my events have heard me say that enough, that this is not one of those things that you can train someone to be. It is a mindset. I can never transfer a mindset. So rather than even thinking of teaching, we are going out and we are asking them to tell us about those people who are already out there. And we have to give those people for whom it's a way of life opportunities to practice. And actual practice. I mean, no role plays. This is actual practice. And in any case, there's so many conflicts out there that they will get enough opportunities if we put them out there. The issue is that they are doing it in closed spaces. And it is maybe within friends that's happening, within organizations. There are people who have that mindset. They're doing that in their meetings or in their interaction with external stakeholders, whatever. They're all doing it there. They have that. But they've never thought of this as a skill that they have. It's a way of life for them. And it's just developing a good conversation or reaching a resolution in any kind of meeting for people. For some of them just comes naturally to be able to take that whole discussion in a certain direction, which benefits everyone. They just do it. But it never gets highlighted. It never gets valued because they themselves take themselves for granted. I mean, what did I do? That's the normal thing. So here we're saying, no, what you're doing is special. You are special. So one part of it is going to be them talking about their experiences. That's what we have to do. Be it a child in a school or someone in a college or in a community or in an organization, just get them out to talk about their experiences, their own, when they've done something, and those people who have benefited from them. So what I thought was that maybe for every circle, we'll have a newsletter. So I'm staying down to a school, having a newsletter talking about these children and highlighting them, because everyone should know that there are special people out there, because that never gets highlighted. I mean, you have either you get a child who becomes an authoritative figure in a, say, whatever you call them, prefects or head girls and head boys and things like that. You have all those designations, but where is that space for a person who is performing that work of a mediator there? So let's highlight them, let's value them, let's put them out there and tell other people that they exist. They've helped people. Let's get the endorsement of people they've helped. That experience gets shared. If it can be recorded and circulated, damn good. If it is through someone typing out their experience, circulating that, we'll do that. Whatever way, let's put them out there. Everyone, I mean, all of you also, your experiences, what you've done, whom you've helped, let's put it out there so that people understand that there are people who've benefited from your work. I mean, that part of it, I don't know whether, because within the mediation world, we have all these conversations, but beyond that world, even one degree out, do people really even discuss all this? So let's go beyond the mediation world. That's the whole idea now, because within the mediation world, we've done, okay, now it's been what, 3.5 years of those events happening, 700 plus event. I mean, of course, shows and all these events which have happened. So we have enough material available there, lots of discussions, but now we have to go beyond the mediation world. So that's the idea. So from this, Tracy Lee, any thoughts which have come up, how you look at it?
Sure. Well, I love what you're saying. I love the concept for children and in the schools, because I just think that um, I think that children have a natural mediation slant. I've had the just over the last, I think, 18 years, just every Monday, I have this little group. And so they've grown. And so now a lot of them are adults, and then I start a new generation of these little kiddies. But the most fascinating thing for me is just the being able to hear what they're going through. But in the hearing what they're going through, I've actually been able to pick up some really valuable tools for me as a mediator on how kids see conflict and fairness and justice. And I almost have the sense that as children grow, so then this whole thing of shame sets in, and then they become silent and they don't feel that they can do what they actually are a natural at. And I think that even, so I love that concept, Vikram. I love the idea of taking it into schools, where children are taught, where young people are not taught necessarily, but just encouraged on the things that are natural. And I think maybe we just love mediation because in so many respects, we're doing what we naturally can do. I think most people are mediators. Any mother, father is a mediator. It's a given. You mediate between your child or your children and their peers. So yeah, I really love this idea. And I think it will take, I would like it to take.
And like you said, we're not going out there to teach, but the only thing is that part is again something which might be difficult for some people, because some people believe that you can program people to become mediators. That's something which, I mean, I've seen that resistance to reach out and just ask children, which I've been saying for so long, just ask the children, do you know someone who helps someone who helps you or your friends, or you yourself help people resolve fights? That even that one conversation, some people have that hesitation to have, because it's been in the mediation world, it's drilled into them that no, it has to be something that you have to be trained for. And that's why all these peer mediation programs, all of them go there to teach these kids. Now, I mean, that's something which I've always had a problem with, because I mean, what are you really going to teach them? I mean, this is something which do we really know how it happens? Why that person has that mindset? To even get into all that, there's lots of, I mean, that we'll discuss maybe later, but we'll get Eugene's thoughts, because your thoughts, everyone's thoughts is better than me repeating myself.
Vikram, yes, it was actually a mind opener, like Tracy said as well. Tracy Lee said, to engage with the schools and to value and to recognize the leadership that we already have in children. I don't work with a lot of children, although I am a parent, so I have a kid of my own. So yes, I know mediation from a very young age. And how to adapt and how to work with them. So I don't work with children a lot, but surely with these type of conversations, it broadens my mind to think, you know what, instead of, and I totally agree with you, not to enforce the 40-hour training, and you know what, who can actually teach someone else to be a mediator in 40 hours? I don't think it's possible. But yes, you have to have a special quality, which is a quality that you're born with. In order to help and to assist and to have passion with other people, and to help them. The biggest concern that we have, or that I see especially with attorneys like myself, is that we are taught in an adversarial way. So we've got an adversarial mindset, and quite recently I changed my whole practice, my legal practice, to be more mediation orientated. And ever since I've done that, I just saw an influx of clients, because that's what the people want. And to help those people and to be trauma informed, and assisting those people with going through the whole process instead of the formalistic mediation. So yes, even if I have clients, I would engage with them and I would ask them, what skills do you have in order to communicate with your partner or your husband or your wife? What skills do you have? And you celebrate those strengths in that people. And then you can actually pick up, and I actually thought to myself, you know what, you would be a good mediator. They with me now in order to mediate a problem or a challenge. But yes, they would actually be quite good as mediators. So yes, these type of conversations are quite necessary for us to just broaden our mind. And yes, I applaud you for that. That's absolutely brilliant.
No, I think what you said is exactly what we need. But what you have to do is that your child is going to be the first one you're going to work with to create a circle in your child's school or within their friend circle or whatever. So today, is your child around somewhere? Is someone is he
Yes,
she around?
she is. Well, she's with. She's working with me. She's an article clerk. So yeah, and she also did the mediation training. But yes, she'll definitely. She's more into the environmental stuff. So definitely she'll be creating a circle on her own.
Yeah, so we have the South Africa College Mediation Circle. We have the South Africa Environmental Mediation Circle, the Climate Change Mediation Circle. So she can be part of that. So, but the one question that I want her to answer for us, whenever you get time to talk to her, is that does she know someone who, as she's grown up, known around her, who has that kind of a skill? So let's, what all we are doing is we're asking that question and they give us the answer that they know someone, because they all know someone, most of them do. And then we bring them into the conversation, those people into, that's how the circle is going to grow. So like with these, what we call these practicing mediators, yes, that will happen. All that will, you people are required to give people that, yes, that support, that this is a direction I can take in terms of my occupation. I'm not going to use the word profession, because that we have had that discussion in that World Mediators Conference. You can type it out somewhere, you'll find it, that is it a profession or is it a way of life? But basic thing is that living in the world that we are, yes, money is important for people to survive to start with. The Maslow's need hierarchy theory will apply, yes, but yeah, can they take this up as something that they want to do as their occupation? So we have to show them, give them that path, and to give them that path, we have to show them opportunities. So we have to create opportunities, which is what that every organization to have a mediator, lots of opportunities there. So we do that, but also the opportunity to actually, reach out through people to people who have disputes, and then either get them to find a mediator in their community or in their wherever they are in their organization, or we have people as part of the larger database that we are creating, which comes from people who have the mindset. And of course, training qualification for me are not important, because it's very simple for me. This is something which is human interaction. This is an experience that you have. Theory, you connect to theory if you have the mindset. So you enjoy the theory. But that theory hasn't put that mindset into you. That's something that people say, oh, I went to that training and I really enjoyed it. It was really nice. It was an eye opener. I feel it was an eye opener because inside you, all those thoughts were there. Good, those words we did not have. I still don't have words of how to explain all those things. Some people can explain it well. Damn good. Please, we like it. That's why all those conversations that think of Ken's words of wisdom, we've put it all out there. So people who actually have that mindset have so much to connect with. But it's something which you experience. So it's an experiential thing. So that's what we need to put out. But your daughter, please get her into the conversation, ask her that. Everyone, your children around you, college, everyone, just that one conversation with them just send that message through WhatsApp today. Do you know someone who helps people resolve? And words is up to you. Fights, disagreements, misunderstandings, miscommunication, disputes, conflicts, your wish. Whatever people understand, send that message out. Next time we meet, which in terms of day that we were talking about, was if today is Tuesday, we can do it on the today. What Tuesday is this? This is the past Tuesday, obviously. So we can always keep that gathering for the Is it we want to give the last Tuesday of the month? We can do that. So we know now that 28th of May we'll meet at the same time. And at that time, let's bring these people into the conversation. Because when you speak to, I mean, children, I'm okay. For me, when I talk to children also, for me, it's about they are wise. Those people have wisdom. So I talk to them like I would talk to anyone. So I don't treat them like children. And that's the way I think of it, because wisdom has no concept of age. It's wisdom. So you're talking to a wise person. So let's talk to them on one-on-one. There's nothing, oh, you're a child and we are going to, in some way, we know so much and you don't. So that's the way I have those conversations. And such nice things come out from them. The unadulterated experiences without any concept of throwing any theory into it. And when they talk about it, that's when you know that, yes, people know everything about the process without that word being used with it. So, Lisa, thoughts? But Indrani, we're going to bring you in whenever you want to come in. So please, whenever. But Lisa is going to give us her.
Yeah, Vikram, I'm hoping I can come in now because I'm about to go for dinner.
We'll have to ask Lisa. We'll have to ask Lisa. For Lisa, can Indrani come in now? Yes, yes, you can. Please.
Thank you, Lisa. Oh, Vikram, you're so good at managing. So yeah, I think I've been one of, I don't know if it was quite Virash or me that was first, I can't even remember how I met you, but it's a good few years now. And, you know, so the network has been expanding and we're at a space where, like you said, we live in a global village and everything is quite palatable. I quite agree. You know, we're so commercialized around the 45 or 40-hour mediation training. And if you don't have the mindset or the love of people and the actual attributes, you know, to impact without worrying about money. So you don't chase the money, it chases you. And I'm very excited to hear, because we've heard this from, you know, Louis Ori, who says he's a reformed lawyer, and the previous speaker, Eugene, that he's now transformed his practice into mediation. And this is a thing. I mean, you get to then expedite disputes, and you have many more clients than you would have ever imagined. So, and then we have so many of the practitioners globally. So I think that you're absolutely on the right track. And given that you've been so passionate about it, I mean, you look as fresh as a daisy. You're probably coming up to 9:30. And hats off for that, because, and I know you played golf this morning. You got to hire me a set of clubs when I come down there soon.
Yes,
So
absolutely.
for me, you know, one of the things, it wasn't, maybe it was because of the circle, I don't know. But I was so blessed to work with the godfather of mediation, Ken Cloak. And we're on this global project with MBBI, Mediators Beyond Borders International, and Greenpeace. And it's just been a whirlwind of experiences, exposure, and exactly the sentiments. You know, it's really about time that more of us started. And like I've always said to you, this peer mediation is exactly where we can actually change mindsets, you know, get the children involved. And I think it was Virash who said she wants the universities, the students to get involved. I'm blessed to be a lecturer at the School of Construction Economics and Management in WITS. And we are doing mediation training, or all disciplines of ADR, but in particular, mediation and how that impacts. So, you know, not wanting to sort of really hold the floor for much longer, I just want to say that through your magnificent circles, starting from inception, I think I met you around 2020 or somewhere there.
Yeah.
And I mean, I got to work with a few of the guys in voluntary spaces. It's just been awesome. I mean, I'm on this global project, which has just opened up so much of exposure to the struggles of the global North, global South, in terms of, you know, handicaps and all that goes with it. So yes, definitely. I mean, you're a warrior for mediation, and it's implicit in your actions. And I'm totally blessed to be involved with you. As you know, I do a lot of land rights mediation, but not so much after the looting, because the sentiments are somewhat disturbed. But now I'm training the guys, the officials, and how to be better at intervening and suppressing the dispute from becoming full-blown. So all told, to my fellow colleagues that are here, you're most welcome to reach me out on LinkedIn. I apologize for not being on camera, but like I said earlier, it's my sister's birthday. I'm out and about, it's a bit noisy and so on. And I think, yes, I'll try to be with you, Vikram, on the World Circle, and again with the guys in SA. And people can look me up on LinkedIn, those of you that don't know me, and we can have an ongoing conversation about the circle and how we can help each other.
Great.
Thanks,
So
Vikram.
the only thing is that all of us want to sing happy birthday for your sister. So
Oh my God. Well, she's
no,
on
everyone
my
is saying
profile.
they've been wanting to do that. They're just waiting for that signal that they unmute themselves and they start singing.
Okay. Well, she's on my profile picture on WhatsApp, so you can call us later and wish her.
Okay. No, but I tell
Thank
you,
you,
the way you said
Vikram.
you said warrior for mediation, and for me, I think it was basically that whole concept of bringing out these people. I mean, they have to be valued. So putting all of, I mean, it doesn't sound nice saying it, but putting all of you out there, all of you special people out there, so that people know that there are wonderful people who have that mindset. And that's why
Yes.
that was the whole concept behind it. That in
Yeah, but
conversation with the beautiful mind that you were on that also. It was
yes,
just
yes.
that. Let's just people
Yeah.
know that there are such special people in the world. That was the whole idea.
Yeah. So it's just within the context of a revolution. We have to be warriors to maintain the overall, pun on the word and so on.
No,
But a
absolutely.
heartfelt, thanks and appreciation and gratitude for having you in my life, because it's just so wonderful. And at least now I know if I'm coming there in a few weeks, that I can steal a game and a round with you. So it'll be really good to see you. And all the people that know Vikram, perhaps we can talk and, arrange to bring him a lot of South African love.
Yes, definitely. No, I can feel that. I can feel that already. So that is a good part about this whole online world, that you can actually feel it in some way. But the important thing is that let's bring okay, you have to be a little selective, but let's bring all those wonderful people whom we are identifying, and let's get them out there, as many as we can. Because when I started off, I said my 1,000 reach 1,000 and you have 1,000,000 people, but I realized my 1,000 doesn't have time. So now I had to do all that, which is why I have to do this also. But otherwise, Viraj, Indrani would have been out there getting those 1,000 in, and we would have reached so many people. But I do understand you people don't have time, and I'm the only one who has time. So I will be there. I'll spend time getting people in, coordinating those meetings, pushing people into the breakout rooms, and let them have the conversation. So I'll definitely do that. But Lisa, you were saying something.
Yeah. Thanks, Vikram.
Thanks, Indrani. Thank you very much for all those wonderful, wonderful words. They're all on record, so maybe I'll take out clips and I'll start watching them.
Okay. All right, Vikram. I'm going to leave shortly.
Okay, please wish your sister from our side.
Thank you so much, Vikram. Bye-bye.
Bye. Yes, Lisa, what are your thoughts?
Obviously, my space is with the students. So I think for me, with what I face with them on a daily basis on LinkedIn, is this whole pressure of profession. And I think it's so key that we're taking mediation out of the professional context, because there's so much of pressure here to follow the career, follow the path, qualify, do your internship, and a lot of them are struggling mental health. I mean, the repercussions are dire and endless. So I think for me, it'll just be, I won't say pitching, but just sort of diverting them to this initiative, and where it brings out the problem solvers in them, because we all have trained with the LLB degree, but that doesn't make us problem solvers. We just know how to deal with an opponent, basically. So it can also be a very kind of good introspection to say, you have a law degree, and a lot of my people do. Are you a natural problem solver? And do you know other people without a degree or without any qualification that can solve problems, whether it's on a big scale, on a family scale, whatever it is. So I think I really want to bust this avenue open in terms of natural problem solving. Like, we don't want to use the word dispute and parties. Vikram, parties. Well,
Please tell the people about this. This party is participants for us. It's participant.
participants,
Parties
right?
is from the adversarial system. We don't use it here.
Yeah. So, like, are there people that you know, and are you? I think that's the crux of the matter when it comes to studying law. It's like, we're gonna take on the world, especially when you're young and you're at university. You might have an agenda to solve the problems of the world, or take on gender-based violence cases. But are you a natural problem solver, number one? And do you know other people that have the skill set that you have? And I think it's a very important question, because it also takes it out of the qualification space. So you basically are qualifying yourself, like you said, Vikram, with the training. The training, if you go for training, it impacts you because it's already those things are already resident inside of you. And I think that's what attracted me instantaneously to mediation. And it didn't take much for me to convert from being a litigator to a mediator, because it just clicked. I mean, I just found a space. When I do these meetings, my head literally goes into a different space, and it's a very, very accommodating, very comforting. It's like you found your tribe. So I think for me, I have to pose that question. It's not about me training you to be a mediator or me endorsing, and I will obviously, endorse our local trainers. But at the same time, when you go for the training, it must be to enhance. If you're a student that is a natural problem solver, if you want to train to enhance what you already have. So it's not about we're going to tack on. So maybe you studied law, so now we're going to tack on the role of a mediator. No, you probably were not a lawyer to begin with, but you might have been a mediator to begin with. So for me, I have to pose those questions, and in so doing, hopefully make the circle bigger, and then start at university level, start even amongst, I would dare venture into the intern circle and prod around there and say, guys, maybe you want to step away from that if you find your problem solving skills are used better elsewhere and not in a courtroom. So it's definitely a challenge that I'm throwing myself under the bus for, because I'm passionate about mediation. And I want, like Viraj is saying, we want to start at that level, ideally at university, at schools. We want to brainwash them with sort of the right thing. Like, mediation is just part of you. I say it's part of a problem solver's toolkit. So if you know how to be a litigator, that's well and good. It's part of you got to pull out the right tools to solve somebody's problem. And litigation isn't always the answer. So, and we want to make, as I always say, make my sort of or revolution within the revolution here is we make mediation mainstream, not alternative. Because I'm tired. It gets relegated too often, even in our legal textbooks. Civil procedure, this thing is right at the back in the appendices section. And we were really robbed of knowing of this magnificent thing called mediation. And some of us had the skills, like myself, but we were trained to go the other way. So I really want to awaken this thing in law students, law graduates, and in the intern pool itself, to say, guys, maybe you need to rethink it. Your skills can be used elsewhere in your community, whoever. And you might find more joy doing that than sort of going into the corporate space. So that's my contribution. And I think, of course, with my colleagues here and those that will join, I really want to penetrate this whole space, because I'm passionate about mediation, and secondly, because I see the carnage that the system this whole professional pressure, career progression, pressure to succeed. And it's just not happening for the majority. So I want to also bring some deliverance and sort of divert them from what they're going through.
I think, Lisa, what we really have to discuss with them is that what is really the role of a lawyer. By itself, that discussion has to happen, because on one end, there are people who believe lawyer or advocate means someone who goes to court. That by itself, that concept has to, of course, be discussed and changed. But what I'm going to do is I'll open up that one, I'm sure, paragraph which you people have definitely read. Mahatma Gandhi's words. I'm going to put it out. It's on the websites, but I'll still put it up here. We'll read this and then we'll go into what that whole thing is. So I'm not going to read it out. Someone who has a better voice than mine, please read it out if you want. But okay, my joy was bound as I had learned the true practice of law. I had learned to find out the better side of human nature, enter men's heart. So, I mean, a little concept there, which you people have all read, I'm sure, but I'm putting it out for the younger people, that the practice of law can mean that you are going to help them. You might not have the skill, but you bring in people who have that skill. That should be the first step when someone comes to you. But can we actually expect them to do it, because you are living in a materialistic world and making money seems to be the first objective, and because of that also mental health issues that you were talking about maybe come from that pressure also. But but how does it work for me? You said training for them or people who have that mindset. For me, it's going to be skill development through practice, like I told you. So what we have to do is give them that confidence that you go out into your families and communities and ask them, do you know someone who has a dispute? I'm saying dispute, I'm not saying conflict, because dispute is a quantifiable thing. We have this dispute. Let's look at that. Can I just tell them, you ask them that, can I help you resolve it? One, they might trust you, they might not trust you. Because of your age, if they don't trust you, then they have you available to them. That's why you people are important in this whole chain, because they should bring you in. So they're marketing your practice in a way, but you are giving them that confidence of them practicing on their own and you coming in as a co-mediator. Whenever, I mean, so look, imagine that you have a college and you have, I don't know, maybe 500 children who come into that circle. They've gone into 500 families and communities and gone and spoken about asking people, do you have a dispute? And they've been the first people to interact with them, find out what it's about. And if they can build trust, let them build that trust. For any reason, if they, whatever happens, they'll come and they'll give you feedback and they can bring those people to you. So I mean, look, it's very limited, the number of people who have that mindset, the way I look at it. And those good human beings, wonderful people and everything, we won't find maybe too many of them with that skill, but the ones you find should be used as much as possible. So imagine now you're doing you have 500 people out there marketing your practice. They're going out and identifying maybe just 100 disputes out there. Imagine the number of disputes you can actually help resolve. Because, I mean, there are millions of disputes out there which never even come to courts. Definitely don't come to courts, first of all. So those are millions of disputes. Then beyond them are the conflicts, millions of them. So the numbers that you need are so large that we have to send these people out with that confidence. There is nothing that stops you. Go ask your family, go ask your community, go ask anyone you know, do they have a dispute? And there's a college student for one of the college with this circle that's been created in one college. He's saying, I've helped in my family. There was a property dispute, there was a matrimonial dispute. He's studying in college, he's helped resolve those. They have the skill. We just have to give them that confidence and opportunities to practice, and they will create those opportunities to practice. The only thing is they'll have your support, so they'll feel better about it. They can come to you and talk to you, and we'll have our reflective practice circles. They'll come there, they can share their experiences. So that's how we have to be able to look at it from large numbers. That's the way we have to grow, and we have to be able to give these people that confidence to go out, just talk about it, and not talk about mediation is very good, you must use it, it helps. No, we don't want to do that. We want them to identify disputes and start working on them immediately. No, you don't have to graduate from law school to do that. Even a young person who's in school can do it, in college can do it. They just go out and just talk about it. And you marketed mediation, you marketed mediators, and you've been able to connect in a way that we want them to. But you have to be careful, I mean, whom you bring in, because that is the most important, being selective there. Yes, Virash, what do you think? No.
That
Yes.
to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think what you're saying, what I understand from that is we want to create people who think like mediators. And how mediators think is in a way of, let's move forward. Let's not focus too much on what the past and use the past as a weapon in our future, in our future interactions, and creating communities of people who are able to communicate with each other the way mediators communicate. Like Lisa was saying, when you go into mediator mode, there's a mind shift. You go into this calmness, you go into this, I'm in control of what is happening in front of me, and I'm in control of myself. And what we want to do is create those little buckets of information that people can say, okay, when I go into a mediation, even as a participant of the mediation, I'm going into that mindset where I'm here to collaborate. I'm not here to be adversarial. I'm here to collaborate. I'm here to problem solve. I'm here to work with the other participants and to work with the mediator. And I think that's what we want to bring into communities by showing the youth that this should be your default setting, is to be collaborative. It's not to go head first into an argument and to be defensive. Let me hear what the other people have to say. Let me understand their perspective. We talk about that in mediation training. We talk about getting the perspective of the other person. What the difficulty lies in is when a person is already programmed to be defensive, to not listen, to not collaborate, to not want to hear what the needs are of the other person. Why should I hear what their needs are? I should focus on myself. What we are doing is facilitating conversations with people to listen to what the other person wants. It is not as bad as you think it is. It's not as bad as other people make it seem or make it out to be because of their experiences. Work with what is happening in front of you right now. So that mediator mindset is not just the person mediating, it's the people inside the entire process itself should have that problem-solving, amicable, collaborative mindset. And coming back to what Lisa said about the mental health of students, when we are, and I'm not sure how, and please add on everybody else.
But I'll just pause you just for a moment, because Marian wants to leave, because if she doesn't leave, there will be lots of issues that we will have to resolve for her. So Marian, thank you very much for coming in.
Thank you for the opportunity. And I've left a note just indicating that I'd like to be included in future meetings. Thank you very much.
Sorry, Marian, it doesn't work that way. You have to now create circles. And when we have the next gathering, you will tell us how it went when you spoke to that.
Oh, my word. Can I speak about the circles I'm already in?
You have to look, those are reflective practice circles, kind of. Here we have to get the children around you, the people around you in your community, wherever, just that one question going out, and bring those people in next time. So it's about now, it's not about talking about right now, it's about the experiences in mediation. It's about getting people in who have that mindset identified by other people telling us that. So please, next time, you know the date, last Tuesday of the month at the same time, South Africa time. Right?
Great.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Sorry, Virash. There was a serious message she sent, so Mary and I had to. Yeah, it would be she'll get into a dispute if she doesn't leave right now. So with the family.
That's okay. I think she's gonna go and work on the mindset of her family members as well to collaborate on what happens next. Well, from following on from what I was saying in terms of the collaborative nature of people who are entering mediation. I mean, as mediators who mediate, we see the difference between those who come into the mediation with that collaborative mindset versus those who have already figured out what they want out of it, and if they don't get it, we're leaving. And they sort of play this game with the mediator as to see how far they can push the mediator when they already know they don't plan on staying on any longer. However, we have all our tools in terms of, depending on your experience. And this is why having tools is one thing, because we all have the tools. It's our experiences as mediators that helps us identify what is actually happening inside that mediation. When you're doing role plays, and even when I'm training people and I say, do the role plays, the difficulty there, and I always say to them, is you're working with role players who already know what to do because they are in the same training as you. So they already have that collaborative mindset. When you go into the real world, that's not what is going to happen. So you have to understand that it's not like the law where there's this process and there's these regulations and rules and that you can follow and tick a box and go. When you're going into that mediation, you ask a question, you have absolutely no idea what the answer is going to be. Lawyers, on the other hand, will ask a question because they already foresee what the answer is going to be. So the difference here is when you're in a mediation, the clients will behave the way they behave. You are not responsible for their behavior. And when it comes down to that mental health that Lisa was talking about, is it affects you as a mediator in a way that do not take responsibility for what happened, how the parties behave. You can manage their behavior using your expertise and your experiences. As a mediator, you should not take responsibility for how they behave. It's not because of you that they're behaving that way. You can manage the process. And I think with students coming in to learn, or even let me differentiate between children, minors learning in schools versus students learning in universities, is I don't want people to actually say to students, you don't have the maturity to deal with disputes. They probably do. They have, and especially, and I noticed this, and I know Eugene was talking about his daughters. I noticed with the generations coming up now, and I see that because I deal with them, they are a lot more patient with wanting to hear what other people say. And it's because they're curious. They're curious by nature because they're experiencing 18 and 19 for the first time. So they're more curious to know, what does it look like on your side? What does it look like for you? So with children, it's the same thing. They are very curious by nature. What we're doing as we grow up is we lose that sense of curiosity because because of our own experiences, we foresee what's going to happen with somebody else. So based on our experiences. And I think that when it comes down to the mental health of students, they're struggling. And again, Lisa, please do, it's not for me to jump in and say, this is what they're experiencing as an expert. From what I see, they're struggling to keep up with people who are already perceiving what is expected from them. And as mediators, when you're sitting in that seat, you are in control of it. And I think that's, for me, should be the forefront of their understanding of mediating, is you control yourself. Control yourself. If you control yourself, you control the process. So when I train people, and something I always say to them every single day, how was your day? How was your evening? What did you reflect on? I give them a journal page. Tell me what happened yesterday, and in your mediation role play, tell me what would you have done differently if you got a chance to do it again. And I do that with them every single day. I do not, there's the theory. Everybody teaches a theory. It's exactly the same. How are you experiencing it as the mediator? Because I want to grow their strength in sitting in a situation they know nothing about what's going to happen next. So that's my contribution on how I see trainers should train mediation. You're dealing with a human being, a person who's seeing things for the first time. So train them to understand that they are not responsible for how the other person behaves. And the outcome that comes of it is not their responsibility. And I think that removes that failing and winning in mediation. Mediation doesn't fail. Mediation brings people together. It doesn't fail. I had a mediation recently where one of the parties, it had to be a party because there was a team of people, and a participant in that party said mediation failed because we didn't get what we wanted. And it had actually run for 4 months. So there wasn't a failure in there. The participants inside, they actually got to listen to each other. And then the participant on the other side said, this was the first time we actually all sat around a table and spoke to each other. We've just been emailing each other. So it doesn't, and I think that winning and losing mindset, it really needs to stop. It isn't there. It shouldn't be there. That's not how we operate as human beings. So that's me right now, Vikram, until you put
There's
me.
lots to be said on what you said, but we first have to say hi to Alison. She was watching it on LinkedIn. I told her to come in here. Alison, you want to say you've come in here because you are going to say hi to us and you're going to join the conversation. Yes, Alison, are you going to unmute, put your video on, say hi, or is it going to be just a spectator like you were on LinkedIn? Okay. No, but Viraj, what we really need to do is that's a concept of training. All those people who are very good at training, we are going to give you the job of training artificial intelligence. So now you're moving away from people. Now it's only going to be artificial intelligence, so that training can benefit so many more people. Because artificial intelligence, once it's trained, which it already has, of course, access to a lot of content, but a lot of it it doesn't have access to, because it all happens, these trainings happen in small rooms, spaces which are not recorded, so it doesn't have access to that. So let's put you people out there training artificial intelligence, whatever I mean, look, the thing is that it is livelihood for some people. So for them, if they go out and just do like they program artificial intelligence or train artificial intelligence, well, then it might be loss of work for them. So that's why you have to create opportunities that this doesn't become livelihood, and livelihood comes from maybe creating more circles and marketing your practice through those circles, so you get much more work from that. That's the way I would want it, because that's one part. This is the training part of it. Artificial intelligence also needs to be trained through actual experiences in mediations, which it doesn't have access to. So let's give that access to it, record whatever experiences in relation to mediations that everyone has, and let's start putting it somewhere so that it gets access to real mediations. What happened there? What was the issue? How did the process go on? What came out? What was the outcome? Because that learning is not available to it, because that happens totally in closed doors. So let's help create that, and then that can be used around the world, because today the way technology is going on, I mean, you can actually have a real person talking to you like as a mediator. Everyone has access to that today. I mean, of course, there are different stages that all that technology is on, but there was someone who had an interview with himself. So there was an AI generated person, and this was an actual conversation he had with himself. And because that artificial intelligence had read all his books, so he was now asking him questions about his books, and they were having a conversation. So here, with all this material, you can have a real person talking to you. So why should we not give everyone in this world an opportunity to have a mediator right there in their house every day? So let's look at that also. I mean, but because we need you, Viraj, to be out there supporting so many of these, be it children in schools or students in colleges or in people in communities and organizations. We need you to, of course, help identify them, but then in terms of giving them support and them reaching out and actually practicing it and learning from that, and that skill development happening, sharing their experiences with you, learning more from that conversation they have with you, or with this reflective practice circle that we create. So that's the way I'm looking at everyone's role there. But Tracy, there has something to say, so yes, please.
The only problem I'd have with AI is I'm not sure that it would make me feel seen. And I do think that there's a correlation between being heard and feeling seen. And there's I don't quite know the saying, but it was somewhere I heard somebody's quote that said that being heard is almost like synonymous with feeling that you loved. The two are almost indistinguishable. But just to say, I really enjoyed Viraj what you were saying, and I think that for me, if we are walking alongside and mentoring young people, mentoring mediators, irrespective of ages, and young mediators, I think that the critical thing on the mindset is that we don't see conflict as a negative, and that we see it as a potential. It's an inevitable. And so we see it as an opportunity. And so I just, for myself, it's always that sense of just being able to have that confidence to say, okay, we're going to walk into that eye of the hurricane, and we're going to go in together, and it's going to be okay, because I, as the mediator, have enough, maybe not necessarily confidence in my own abilities, but just that sense of, I know enough to know we're going to come out. And I really loved what you said about the thing of mediation never fails. Sometimes parties cannot resolve a mediation. Does that mean that they failed? Absolutely not. They have grown in an understanding, but that's a different discussion. But just taking on that issue of mindset, I also have the sense of the posture of the mediator. And I think that we sometimes potentially would see that in the younger mediator, those people that are wanting to go into it, and it's when they hold back. And I think that that's what is critical with the mediator, is that we don't jump in, but we hold back. And it's so there's this whole thing of 2 ears, small mouth, wide eyes, heart that is like, I'm going to see you, and I want you to feel that I see you because I'm passionate about what I'm doing, and a mind that says I'm curious. And so for me, it's that whole thing of that, bringing that in, and if we can just help young mediators, and often I have to help myself by reminding myself, we get rid of the ego. There is no place for an ego in somebody else's disputes. We come into a dispute, and that's, I suppose, what we have to also just help people to remember is you come into disputes, and you come in very humbly and very gently, because they have opened up what is so important to them. So whether we're dealing with a child or a young person that is seeing there's conflict in the family and they're going to intervene, that whole thing of do it gently, because then you build up trust. Do it with respect, because dignity is an inherent right of everyone. So it doesn't matter whether you agree with the position they're taking or whatever. It's that you come in gently. And so that for me is like, I get excited at the thought of us just being able to share those intrinsic qualities of what mediation is, and giving it to a next generation of mediators, irrespective of age, and being able to say, like, go in. So first, do no harm. So if you're going to harm by asking a question, you don't ask it. So, and I agree with you, we don't always know what that outcome of the question is, but I think there's some questions that we kind of get a feel for. And so it's like, okay, so we're going gently and humbly. So yeah, that's about it.
No, again, so much to say about what you just said, but let's just, the artificial intelligence one, definitely I'm going to talk about, but this thing about you said about the harm, I think this is where a lot of issues for me have come up in relation to mediation, that people have this thing, oh, we have to train you, otherwise you'll harm people, may harm that situation. If it comes from the heart, it'll go in the right direction. Just let them do it.
Yeah.
Don't hold them back by this might happen, that might happen, and you might explode this whole thing. Because that's why I'm saying the next step is, oh, you need to be trained. Then you'll be able to ask the right questions. This is all I mean, for me, that's that it is in a way adulterating something which might be pure. You're adulterating by putting these barriers to it. And for me, the mediation definitely maybe did not develop the way it should have developed, maybe because of the box that people wanted to put out there. This is what you have to do. This is how you have to do it. This, and the other part of this artificial intelligence part that make you be what you said, be felt, what, I don't know what is that word you used, whatever. I mean, so you'll be very surprised the way artificial intelligence is developing. Everything that you say, if it's available for it to record or at least observe, the way you talk, you sit in, say, 500 mediations and is recording everything that you do, he'll be able to speak like you. Make the other person feel comfortable the way you make them feel comfortable. It'll be about words that you use, because the human element, when does it come in? When do you connect at the heart, the soul level? When does that, maybe it's an aura that you bring in, is the energy that you bring in? Those are the human things which we don't have words for. We don't even, science might also, maybe, I don't know whether it'll ever reach that point to understand those things. That's what's required where the human being comes in. But responses, respond in a certain way so the other person feels in some way that you've not just heard, that their presence has been felt, or whatever you were saying. But that part of it is it can be done. I think that's where there were some people say, oh, you have to show empathy. And so there was one person who was taking us through how to show empathy. If you have to tell people those things, let's tell artificial intelligence to do it. It'll do a much better job there. But when you feel it, you feel that compassion, you feel it, those are the people we need. So it's a little different. I mean, I don't know whether I can explain that to you, but there is a difference between responses which the other person feels that, yes, I have been heard, and one is there is that feeling of actually connecting at a certain level. So we'll have to, over time, we'll go through it. What is it that machines can do? What is it that humans are required for? Is it about programming in terms of responses that we're doing? We'll give it to the machine. If it is about connecting at a deeper level and things that we don't understand why it happens, because some people's presence does a lot of things, just their presence. Well, how does it do it? What really happened there? We don't know what happened, but just them being in that space with other people changes the dynamics. How does it happen? Maybe so the person didn't even open their mouth, but the presence, whatever, it could be perception of a person, or is it really about some energy? Is it about aura? What is it all about? We don't know. But that's where the human aspect of it we'll get to. So we'll differentiate, but we'll have a session of the South Africa artificial intelligence mediation circle. We'll do that sometime. But let's do it for the global one. So all those inputs will get there. But Eugene hasn't been able to say anything. But once before you come in, Eugene, Alison is there. She says the internet connection is a bit, is a little bad. But Alison, you can just unmute yourself, say hi to everyone. You don't have to put on your camera if that's the issue. Yes, Alison, you want to? One tap, unmute, one hello, and then unmute, then mute again if you want to. Okay, maybe no. Maybe she doesn't want to unmute. Yes, Eugene. And Boseki is also there. I can see Boseki also hasn't come in. Boseki, you want to say, because your video is not coming on, we can't see you. But if you want to unmute and say hi to everyone and join the conversation, please free. Yeah, because your video is not coming on. You're attempting to put it on, but it's not coming on. But we can hear you.
Okay, good morning, Vikram. Good morning, everybody.
Hi,
it's a pleasure to be on this platform.
But after Eugene finishes, you are going to but after Eugene finishes, you are going to come in and give your thoughts, because you heard everything that we've been talking about. You are going to give your thoughts, but I'll just let Eugene finish because I brought him in. Just give us. I'll get you in just. I won't say 2 minutes, because then I'm going to say, oh, Eugene, you have to finish in 2 minutes. No, you don't have to. Take your time. We'll get him after you finish. Yeah, please.
I've been listening now to especially what Lisa said and Tracy Lee and Viraj as well, and it's all about the experimental learning and the experiences of the people. And I found that, you know what, there's so many. South Africa does have a lot of mediators, and there's a lot of training being done for mediators, but those people do not go into practice necessarily. I've got 2 mediators in my office that did the training, but they are too scared. They are fearful of entering and actually speaking to people. And I think that is not just lack of experience, but it's the lack of connection with people that might be problematic. And I don't think it's just localized to South Africa. I think it's worldwide, where you have a mediator that has been trained, but it was theoretically, and it was a practical one, and they only did the role plays. They never had any interaction with people. So they do not learn that social skill of listening, of engaging with people, sharing the aura, sharing the energy between people, and creating the safe space for them to be heard. And I think there's a definite need, specifically in South Africa, to actually get those people, because there are people that did the training, and there are actually good people that should be in the mediation field, but they are too scared. So I think for us that have been doing mediation for quite a while, and we're not scared to engage with people, to take those people under our wings and to assist them, to say, but you know what, you are a good mediator. Give them the confidence, like you mentioned, Vikram. Give them the confidence to say, but you know what, sit in. You know what, forget about your training. Forget about your training. Forget about the steps. Because I've sat in with mediations where people actually wrote down the steps. And then they have to do all the steps. You know what, they're so fearful that they're going to skip a step. Leave that. You know what, feedback, get from the client, and then engage in conversation, because that is exactly what it is. It's conversation with people, holding the space, making them feel safe for them to resolve their own dispute.
I think, Eugene, I mean, again, lots of things come out from what you said, but one thing is that there are people who don't have the mindset, and you push them through this machine and you expect a mediator to come out. It won't happen. The other is someone has the mindset,
Correct.
you put them through the machine, and they lose confidence in themselves, because suddenly you've given them
Correct.
a theory, you've given them a box which they don't connect with, because naturally they have that skill, but suddenly you've told them, no, this is not what you have to do. I will tell you what to do. Do you really know what to do? There are I don't know how many billion people on this planet. You know how to deal with all of them? Wow. Then you should be a spiritual guru. You should be only one on YouTube. You know how to deal with everyone in this world. So I think those are all their issues both ways in terms of that training. But I don't really like to use that word itself, but because you people have used it enough time, so I will say training. But one, skill development through practice, which is what we'll try to do. But Alison has put her video on, so we have to get her in. But Bosiki is also waiting, Alison. So you just have to say hi right now. We have to get Bosiki in, and then we'll come back to you. Yes, Alison.
Hi. Thanks for letting me in. Sorry, my internet connection is really bad here. It keeps on dropping. So yeah, I just want to say, basically what Eugene said. I think a lot of young mediators don't ask questions. They follow the recipe without actually asking simple questions and trying to get a feel for the actual situation. And I think each case is unique and each dispute is unique. And I think mediators just need to ask the questions to get further into resolving the dispute between the parties. And a recipe is great, but it's not necessarily, each dispute is different and each dispute is unique. And even though we can follow a recipe, I think it's different, and it needs to be adapted for each individual unique situation. And I think that's where some people go wrong. They follow the recipe to a T, and they have a preconceived idea about what their outcome should be, instead of letting the parties decide on what the outcome should be and facilitating the process to reach their own outcome.
Alison, this was supposed to be just a hi. This is one long hi. We are going to get you in. Your thoughts are also going to come in, but you're going to tell everyone about yourself later. But first, we have to get Bosiki in because he was there. But we want to get in. This was just supposed to be that hi part of it. Yes, Bosiki, you were saying something. I cut you off.
Oh, okay. No, thanks for welcoming back, Vikram. I just wanted to say hi to everybody and to just make a slight comment when it comes to mediation. Mediation, my belief is that it is as old as humankind. So everyone who's in a dispute, the solution is always there. But it's a question of encouraging those who are in a conflict to reach a solution. I think in mediation is the best way for our social cohesion, because these days, if there is a dispute, every people want to take their matters to court. They put their trust to somebody else. But if they handle their dispute and find a solution, I think they can become the great winners rather than the bad losers, because when you are in court, you are on the losing side. There are costs involved. So people are bragging about all those things, that this one was offered cost. So it's a win and lose situation. But in mediation, is so nice because we are all winners. We can still laugh the following day. We can still encourage other people. It's just a network to how to solve problems. So this is a great opportunity now that this is launched in South Africa so that we can go globally as well. I've been watching your videos, but I'm happy for this opportunity. And I think my fellow South Africans too, they welcome this opportunity. Thank you, Vikram.
No, thank you, Basiki, for coming in. But let me tell you that we do say that yes, people should in some way use mediation. Why do they go to courts? But sometimes I feel that if they don't get the right people as mediators, that by itself there is no use pushing mediation. And that is what we need to do, get those people out there. And that's what the attempt is through these mediation circles. Let's get the right people out there who can give people that good experience that they should get out of it, because there is that, again, that blind man and the elephant situation with mediation. There are situations where settlements are happening. There are people being pushed into settlements and people call that mediation. I mean, by personally, for me, that's not mediation, but it comes under the broad heading of someone assisting you to resolve. But if you put a gun on someone's head and that resolution comes in, let's not call that mediation. So putting a gun to their head in different ways. So one is mediation, which is coming through the court system, where because of the inefficiencies of the judiciary, you are being sent to a process. And in that process, you are told that the judiciary is inefficient, so you should settle. And that's not mediation. That's, again, gun on the head. You're not going to come out because you really wanted to in some way understand the other person's situation. So okay, let's try and resolve it, and so which helps all of us. It's not that. You are maybe a larger corporation, I'm a small time business person. You have the whole army to go into courts. I don't maybe have time to go into courts because I'm handling a small business. So okay, let me settle. The guy's not going to go out and say, oh, mediation is very nice. He's going to say that basically they put a gun to your head, and that's why I settled. So I think that we need to do the right atmosphere, the right space, and the right people. So for us, the first thing is the right people. Let's bring those people out. Then we'll create the right space. And then that mediation that goes out, because people who experience you will take back something very nice through mediation. But if it's not you and the process where it is that deal making settlement kind of conference, maybe we don't want to call it mediation at all. But we'll see how that goes. But Alison, was that done? What you was that thoughts that you put out there? Was there something else that you wanted to add on that?
I'm done. Thank you.
That's very nice. Now that you have
Thank you so
heard,
much.
no, but Alison, you heard everyone talk about whatever you were watching it on LinkedIn. What are your thoughts on the World Mediation Circle, on the South Africa Mediation Circle? How are we taking it forward? Please, some thoughts there.
I think it's amazing. I think it's exciting. Thank you for taking the initiative.
Okay, that's short. That's short. I tried my
It's short and
best
sweet.
to get a last. Nothing came out of
to the
it.
point.
A little too much to the point. But I thought maybe I didn't ask Bosiki this also. Bosiki, how are we going to take it forward? What are your thoughts on that?
This is the initiative that I appreciate so much. I think I'm going to put my effort as well to preach this gospel of mediation wherever I interact with different people in different categories. I've liked the idea that it can even go back on to the lower level, which is at schools. I think if our children can grow with that mentality that in every situation, whether there is conflict, which is, according to me, is always normal to have conflict, but there must be a solution which makes people to understand each other. This is a great initiative that we must broaden now this circle as we have broadened, because I understand South Africa is hashtag number 46 on this circle. Yeah. So I think if each and every one of us can market and broaden this, we can go far. People can be so well informed about what to do in a conflict or in a dispute. Thanks, Vikram. That is how far I can take my contribution from many speakers that have spoken before me.
And I think the important step is to first of all, I mean, of course, communicate it also that this is not some rocket science that we have got from somewhere and we are now going to suddenly transfer some knowledge to you and now you'll become better human beings. It's not that. The important part is to put out there that you know everything about it, except that you don't know the word mediation. You know what the process is, it's being done around you, there are people who are doing it. Please tell us about those people, because this symposium that Viraj participated in, this was 2021. The theme was, it was mediation in our culture and traditions. People are familiar with the process, they're not familiar with the word, and that's what the whole idea was at that time to discuss. And now we've reached to this point where we want to do something about it. But that time we were just putting out there. But it's not about, I mean, the discussion in that symposium also, and the indigenous peoples and mediation also was, that is not that it is something which is happening all the time and this is in our culture, we have it had it. There are people who, there are cultures where it was arbitration. There was someone, the chief or the ruler or someone just told you what to do. So it's not that it is ingrained and it is something which is every culture is familiar with, or they have a process happening within themselves. So that also we have to differentiate. That there are spaces where people don't get an opportunity to really decide on them for themselves, even in traditional systems. So that differentiation also needs to be made. It's very nice to say, oh, it's always been there in in various cultures. We have to be very clear to explain to people what the process is. And this is again something we've discussed in a lot of my events also, that we have to pick up the right word. Don't connect people with something which in their mind connects them to a process where someone is telling you what to do, which is even in traditional systems, we have words, which is in India, we have a word called, I mean, a group of people called the panchayat in villages. They give decisions. If you connect that word with mediation, they're going to think that someone else has come to take a decision for them. Yeah, we were in the Pakistan one, we were talking about this word called jigra. There's a process called jigra. Jirga, jirga, jarga, jarga. And it's all about some elders coming and telling people what to do. So it's not mediation, but I mean, for some reason, in some kind of trainings, this actually happens. They're connected with the process, which is really not mediation. So first of all, we have to be very clear what we are putting out there and not connecting it to any kind of word which might be used very casually about dispute resolution and connect it to mediation, because it might go just the wrong way. Because if in a village I go and say that what the panchayat does is mediation, they're going to say that someone takes a decision. That's what the panchayat does. And this is happening here. I mean, it's happening here to the extent of the Supreme Court of India putting out a manual on mediation and connecting it with panchayat. And on the other side, if you have a conversation with someone from the village, very immediate panchayat, someone taking a decision for you. It just comes to them. So it's that wrong connection also which is being made. But yeah. So next steps, Viraj. Viraj. Okay, next step. Let me put it out there, then you can come in.
Yeah, let me just say next steps. Next, and who wants to add to this? What is the contribution, everybody? We've been talking all evening. I think the next steps, and this is what I said at the beginning, Vikram, is that this circle of South Africa has grown, and just not just putting on falling on Indrani's shoulders and mine, it's grown to include everybody's ideas. I think the next steps, and I think Eugene also knows this because I've chatted, we're on a group chat where, mediators are part, and Tracy as well. We're all part of this group chat where there are mediators there. And Lisa, please join us on this group chat. It is that I think the isolation part is not seeing the other mediator as a competitor, is seeing the other mediator as, the way we practice, the practice of mediation as a collaboration. You talk about reflective practices. And I think with so much of chatter and so much of social media giving all of this negative connotation from what they say, the legal fraternity around mediation, I think mediators need to unite. I think mediators need to unite and actually propose to people and endorse in public that we work together. we support each other, and we learn from each other. And the circle in South Africa should actually reflect that. It should, instead of having these factions that I don't know other jurisdictions, but instead of having factions in your own country where you don't support other mediators, it's not going to help. Because if we as a mediator circle within South Africa cannot support each other, then how are we supposed to look like a supporter circle to the rest of the world? So within our country, I think on our agenda should be to unite South African mediators to work collaboratively. And within that circle of unification is then demarcate areas where those who are experts in those areas then go and endorse mediation in those fields and say, this is exactly what it is. I mean, I've done webinars on trying to explain to legal practitioners, get inside the belly of mediation and understand what it actually is. It's not a competition to your practice. It is actually boosting your ability to be more client-centric. And this is what I think we need to go, again, from the inside out, is fixing the unification of mediators in South Africa, then opening up that to then saying, okay, now let's endorse each other's specific areas of expertise, and then going out and saying to the public, look, this is what it exactly looks like. We're really not throwing you into a therapeutic process. That therapy is something else. It's not what we do. We are actually here to listen and bring out what is actually holding you back from reaching resolution. So for me, that's just part of my agenda. So actually part of what I was saying is, first, work from the inside out is bringing South African mediators together, and then expanding our circle to meet the expectations of what you see as world-class mediators. So please, I'll open the floor to everyone sitting here.
We'll open the floor. We'll open the floor to everyone. First thing is, no, we will. First thing is, Viraj, when you said let's bring the South African mediators together, we have to first of all look at who are the South African mediators. One is who have taken it up today as their practice, and they're out there who are professionally practicing as mediators. So me, when you say South African mediators, is that down to that little child who has just helped his friends resolve something, that's a South African mediator, and to people who are actually like you practicing as a mediator as their livelihood. So that's also the South African mediator. For me, everyone, for me, it's according to me, I mean, some people have more experience, some people has less experience. One person has only 4 friends that the person has helped, but one person has had 4,000 people they've helped. But this mindset is there. This person has not got opportunities to help a lot of more people, which is what we have to create for them. Opportunities, however it might be, and help them create their own opportunities. So that's what, if we can put that together first, because look, I'm telling you that no one should get this inferiority complex that one training, certifications, accreditations, that we have to be very sure about, because which I will call this the colonization of mediation. You are certified, you are a mediator, someone who's actually practicing it and maybe doing more work than a person who's certified, but is not considered a mediator by those people. Oh, you're not trained, you're not a mediator. First of all, that has to go. I mean, anyone who comes into that circle should be very comfortable and doesn't get what is that, the imposter syndrome or whatever that's called. No, that concept doesn't come in. They are as whatever proficient as mediators. It's just that they have less experience of actually doing enough of those mediations, maybe. But that's, I mean, if you have to give them, when I say safe space, that safe space includes this aspect of everyone being included because of their mindset and being treated as equals. Never that kind of a hierarchy developing the certifications and trainings and accreditations and what have you done? You just helped a few friends do it. You're not really a mediator. I don't want that to happen, because that can give people start getting that feeling, which we have to be very careful on that part. I mean, that basically, what do you think? Is that doable?
I love that. I love that. And I think that, what I just hear from what you just said now, so Viresh, absolutely 100% in agreement with everything you're saying here. For what Vikram, as you're speaking, I just thought to myself, and it's the one thing to get the mediator mindset. And so those mediators that have done the courses, they've got that they could have the mindset of, I'm a mediator, great. But there's another mindset that we have to do. It's that mindset that almost says, I don't know how to put this into words, so I've just got to conceptualize it, but I almost see this picture of like the breaking down of the walls. So in other words, yes, you've done the course, but you're not more of a mediator than somebody else. And so it's that, so we just all come, and it's all just equal. I just love that, because I think that that's what we need. And I think that it is critical that that those that have that mediator mindset feel part of, and that we don't have these hierarchies or the politics coming into mediation, because that just breaks it down. And the thing is, with bad news and things like that, it just spreads so fast. And so then everybody starts to hear, and the mediators have issues. And I think that is critical, that we are of one accord, one mind, one mindset. So I love what you're saying, Vikram, in a nutshell.
Because why I'm saying this is because a lot of people don't have words to talk about that experience that they have, the mindset that they have. They can't express it. I mean, these are not theoretical aspects. This is something that you have an experience within, and that's something that it just comes from the person that you are. But you can't explain it. Everyone can't explain it. Some people, yes, can explain them in words, but that doesn't mean that their mindset is at a different level, only because they can put their thoughts and the way they practice in better words. So that's something that, like I said, it's not about words, it's not theory, it is about practicing it. So experiences people can share, but to be able to gauge people on the words that they have talking about their own practice or what they think about mediation, we won't do that. We won't discriminate people on the basis of whether they have good words to express their feelings. So yeah, so maybe we'll have to be, but Vinesh, we'll open the floor. We'll get everyone in when they want to. For some time, let me just take everyone through that one by one. Lisa, any thoughts, next steps?
Yeah, I think for me, it's firstly getting out of that, because I'm working in two spaces. I'm working in the training mindset space, and I'm working in, so now it's for me, when I'm in this space, I have to not discriminate. So myself, I'm not accredited, but I'm a mediator. So I'm owning that. And whoever I'm going to call in, I have to make that distinction, emphasize that there's no discrimination. So you're coming from an environment that says you have to have a 4-year degree, you have to have internship, you have to do this, you have to do that, and then you are whatever. The message in the mediation space now for me is going to be different. So in terms of next steps, like Viraj was saying, we have to unite both the professional and the real mediators. we have to focus on, I think it's, for myself also, I find it's very easy to slip into that. Your colleagues are the ones that trained with you, It's very easy to say those are the mediators or those are the lawyers. But I think uniting everyone now is going to be this call that we put out, and where we are not going to discriminate between trained and untrained in this parlance that we use to, like you're saying, it's going to create imposter syndrome, and we want to all be on the same side, because if you're on the same side, then we can solve problems, right? So for me, it's going to be it's that distinction, removing that distinction, and when we're calling everyone together to emphasize that distinction. So I think for me, that's the overall next step, is us all putting that call out there that doesn't discriminate, And then secondly, I think within our respective spheres of influence is to start those groups. For me, I know I do mentorship with baby lawyers, so maybe I'll do a mediation mentorship circle where I start to build their confidence and make them go out there and do their thing. So I can see a lot of opportunity in my space. I've been writing down stuff here, you know, with the skill development and all of that. So I think we got to do it on a macro level and also within the spaces that we find ourselves in currently.
Just, I mean, like I said, for the first step, just that one message going out to whoever you know and asking them, do they know someone who does that? I mean, let's get them in. And with these children, all these people whom you mentor, we'll give them that confidence to go out into their communities and families and ask that question and actually do it. I mean, if they want to help those people, let them do it themselves. But they can always bring you in, and whoever else who's part of that larger community, bring anyone in. But so that's why connecting with everyone, them getting to know you, and whoever is comfortable with whoever brings that person in, and that's the whole idea of putting out the right faces for mediation. For that's the first thing, that when people think of a mediator, there has to be some person that comes into their mind, and that person is someone whom, I mean, for the way I look at mediation, and I'm sure all of you look at it the way I just said, that whole humanistic approach and the heart, soul, spirituality, and all those things, they connect with that part of it. And when I say trusted person, they know those people. So we just have to put them out there, because they might not know them as mediators, but they know them as people around them. I'm saying down to a community or to a school or a college, when they put that person out, they'll all have some very good thoughts about that person. That's what I feel, if you put it out. But Eugene is going to tell us what he feels.
Thank you, Vikram. Yes, sure. My mind is racing with ideas and with thoughts. And yes, like you said, and all the previous Varish and Lisa as well, Tracy Lee, is the unification thereof. And I think that's important because we do have some problems in South Africa with regards to the training institutions and with the internal politics. And I don't think it's necessary. I don't think it's in the spirit of mediation at all. And yes, I definitely, I've had a couple of mind shifts and a couple of aha moments while listening to all the others and to you. And I think definitely I will reach out to Lisa and definitely take hands with her in order to assist her. Because you know what, if I do it on my side and she does it on her side, yeah, then we can have a collaborative effect and reaching a lot of people. So I'll definitely be reaching out to all the people and to offer my assistance. And of course, I'll do the WhatsApp message to my daughter and asking her her input as well, and I'll give you some feedback on the next meeting.
And all the other WhatsApp groups that you are in, all the people you're connected to in WhatsApp, that one message, please send it out. But you also have to, you will, you said assist people and you will work with them. Please also assist me in putting out some communication. Like I call it a newsletter, but whatever form it has to take, whoever, I mean, everyone of you, if you can work on it, just in your words, if whatever we've discussed here, in your words, let's put out a little brief and send it out to people that this happened. Link to the recording definitely is available, but people don't have that much time to watch anything which goes on for 2 hours. I know that. I know that. Transcript is definitely available for all videos. Transcripts are there, but we at this stage maybe don't have, I mean, you people also might not have time to go through a transcript and put it out, but at least let's put the thought out somewhere, whatever in your words, I mean, whatever it might be, so that let's just reach out to as many people and get them in. And just, I'm saying nothing comes out of it maybe, but just having good people together and having a good conversation, and of course controlled by me, Virash, the conversation. but we'll open it up. This, you're seeing this today, but when these circles have their gatherings, they take it the way they have to take it. I want to just move away. They have it in a language which I don't understand, but they have that conversation. So I'm just creating that little space, because the thing is that why I need to put out my thoughts is because that's the way I look at mediation. That's the way I look at, I mean, a very brief idea of what I think is going to happen, but it should grow organically. For every circle should grow the way it has to grow. It's not going to be each of them are the same. It's called everyone's thoughts. Each individual is going to take it in a certain direction. But the important thing is, please bring in good human beings into it, so that the energy around just the fact that we have to spend 2 hours together should be a pleasant 2 hours. That is the way we should look at it. So if good things come out of it, damn good. Nothing comes out of it, at least those 2 hours or whatever time we spent, we felt good about it. So that should be our thing. Virash, the floor is now open, please.
Well, I think, you know, we are from South Africa, from our side, and I don't want to get ahead of myself, is I think we're excited that we are now part of a global circle. So thank you, Vikram, for this opportunity, for bringing everybody in, reaching out to everyone with your invitation. You know, when it first started out, like I said, it felt like a lonely place, but then all of us felt like we were in silos around the world in 2020, when we were all meeting each other online for the first time, and then establishing our what is now a 4-year relationship, Vikram, with you, and building the circle and growing the circle. It's I think I can only say that hopefully the ideas we shared here, the thoughts we've shared here, the reflective practices we've shared here, it makes a difference to what's currently happening around the world, and also in South Africa, is to say, look, we can collaborate, we can work together. This is our thoughts. These are mediator thoughts. You should be having the same thoughts as well. Yes, there is training in South Africa for mediators, because there is a sense of the theory you have to know, the principles of mediation, what does fall. And like you said, you know, we do have those leaders in our communities and villages and outside there who take the stance that if I'm the leader, I make the finals. I'll hear everybody. I just make the final decision. We do have that in South Africa as well, as part of cultural practices. The thing about mediation is to be heard, to hear what the other person has said, and leave the decision making for them to come to what would be realistically their outcome. And I think that's where the theory of mediation plays a part of it. And if you can't just jump into mediation without understanding the vital parts of how it works in bringing in the parties. It's not the way people think, okay, so you go talk to somebody and then they make a decision for you. So the mindset, though, is important. And I see this when I'm training my delegates and my students, is the light bulb moment that they have. It's usually on day 3. That light bulb moment that goes, oh, is this? And even if they're lawyers, so this is what we're supposed to do. And I had one person tell me after 5 days, this is more like psychology training than it is legal training. I said, well, why did you make this? Because I'm actually feeling emotional doing this. And so we went and we unpacked that. And that is what the training is about, is understanding how's your mind with this type of training. Because there are no rules, there are no procedures, there are no tick box, there's no chart that you follow. You're sitting there and listening to people. You're listening to people and you're learning from them by their responses and reactions, and then you know what to do next. And that's how you become comfortable sitting in that seat, is you give them that opportunity to give you information. And we're constantly being fed information throughout that entire process. And I think that's why children and students and anyone who hasn't had the formal training, where they have that ability to sit and listen and learn from the information somebody is giving to them, and not using their biases to interpret that information to what they want it to be. That's where it's important for people to understand that's what it takes to be a mediator, where you're giving somebody the chance to tell their story to you. It's not about you determining if it's a lie or judging it or saying that version is wrong. It's about you giving somebody that opportunity to tell you their story, and now you know what to do with it. So for me, that, you know, that understanding of the mindset of a mediator, it sits there, is saying, can I do this? Do I have it in me to do this or not? Going through the training will determine, can I do this or should I just not do it? And I see that in people that I train, is they will say, I can do this, or they'll say, thank you for the lesson. I know what to tell my clients when they come to me as a lawyer, and I want to explain to them how to go into mediation or what is the mediation process, but I will not be a mediator. And that is good. That is a good reflection on them understanding, should I be sitting in the seat or not? Do I have the mindset to let their client control the outcome of their dispute? So yeah, those are my thoughts. Thank you, Vikram.
But let me tell people that, look, now Virash's words of wisdom, you can see such important words of wisdom that she has. Now she's participated in some of my events. Now, if you have to find those recordings, how would you go about it? Anyone, any thoughts? How would you find those? Okay, anyone? No.
I didn't realize there's going to be an exam at the end of this
I'm asking
session.
them. No, let me tell them,
It's
because it's simple.
no,
All you have to do
no,
is all
I'm
that people
sorry.
have to all that people have to do is go to YouTube, type Mediator Vikram and type Virash's name, and you'll find the recordings of where she's participated. Because that first symposium also, she had said very, very interesting things, that she had spoken about her own experiences, about the women in mediation and all those kinds of things. Very important. I mean, it was all those things are, I mean, like I said, words of wisdom, which otherwise would get lost, but at least good thing is we have it available. So please do that search and you'll find that. But one important thing, maybe I missed out on that, was that how does that circle, I mean, what are the other things that need to happen? One is that, again, Viraj had participated in that mediation legislation symposium also. Legislation itself that is developing or has developed in countries hasn't taken into account the kind of mediation that I'm talking about. It is all about this vested interest of training institutions and institutions being translated into legislation, that you'll have to pick up this certification, and then when you are a mediator, then there is a set different the end result in terms of the enforcement is different. But I just feel that when you said mediators coming together, and in a way maybe even lobbying in countries for the legislation to also develop understanding what mediation is all about, rather than people who are from the legal profession, from an adversarial system, drafting legislation, and other people drafting legislation, which makes it so complex that they need a lawyer to understand the legislation itself. And we want to keep them away from lawyers. Not that we don't need lawyers, but lawyers don't have to be part of mediations. They have a role to play, which we'll discuss. Maybe we'll have one session on that. The Ecuador Mediation Circle is actually discussing that, but I think that'll be in Spanish, the role of lawyers. But we need also, well, look, the first step we need to create is that we have these faces of mediators that people have, and it should go to mediators first. But yes, we need those lawyers who have that mediation mindset, because they'll have a role to play, maybe even to help people draft a settlement agreement. So we have to send them to the right lawyer to do it, so that that is also a collaborative process with that lawyer to do it, rather than maybe drafting it in a manner where it actually in some way puts a hurdle in settlement. All those kind of things. Let's get good lawyer. We can get lawyers also be part of that mindset. But our thought process is not around lawyers and the fact that dispute resolution has to happen with lawyers sitting there. That mindset also needs to change, which I call the colonial mindset, that the dispute resolution has to happen in courts and lawyers have to be part of it. So that also, I mean, you have to work both ways. We're not saying that good lawyers with that mindset are not required, but yes, we have to also get some good of people also there, because they'll in some way facilitate, they'll help the process also as experts in the law with the right mindset coming in, and who can look at things objectively, rather than that whole training of only looking at it from one side's perspective and putting that argument through. But please, any of you, whatever you want to say, please do it. Viraj has very categorically pointed out that I do control the conversation a little too much, and she wants it to open out. Viraj, I've opened it out. Everyone has the opportunity. I do not control the unmuting. Please, whatever you want to, any thoughts, anything. Anyone? Anything?
So I'll say something. Thank you so much. So what I'm really hearing is this whole thing of inclusivity. So we're talking collaboration, I hear inclusivity. So it goes from the attorney to the mediator to that person that at grassroots that is doing what we are doing. And I just, again, you know, Virash, you were speaking just about when you train the attorneys and you just help them to understand that actually it's to their advantage to send their clients to mediation. There's a part of me that just actually thinks, you know, from this whole perspective, for those mediators that might at some point listen in and Vikram, I know that this is a passion, so they will hear maybe in different forums. But the thing is, like, here we are, and we've gone and trained, and that might be what they're thinking. Like, we've trained, and now you're saying just everybody's a mediator, and I just think that we can also just quell that the concerns that they've got, because it actually can work to everyone's advantage. The attorneys are sending to the mediators, but by same token, those that are on the grassroots, and you mentioned this, Vikram, those are there, they may well say, I know a face of somebody that maybe can take this a little bit further because I can't take it further. So I just see that there's advantage. It's like cohesive and symbiotic, and we all just working together. Why? Because we just believe that disputes can be resolved. Not us doing it, but creating and holding that space for others to have an opportunity to talk and feel heard. So I've really enjoyed this discussion, and I've learned a lot. So thank you.
Thank you, Tracy. Tracy Lee, anyone, any thoughts, anything, please, if you want to. Otherwise, you know that we are meeting on that day when you are going to bring in people who. But one thing that you also, one is that the question that we are asking people is, do you know someone who helps people? But one question you can also ask is there someone you would trust if you had, or if you have a conflict or a dispute or fight, whatever, is there someone you trust that who can help you do it? So maybe they themselves might not have actually experienced someone, but in their mind they have someone that, okay, if I have something, I will bring this person in because I trust this person. And they will not be able to tell you why they trust that person. I mean, that's something which comes from various aspects of that person that they have perceived, and whatever those are. I mean, that person's value systems or the conduct of that person over years that they've seen, or just some interaction of that person they maybe saw at some point of time that created that trust. But I think that trust word is also what we need to ask them about in some way. But I'm not going to, I mean, the question, please draft it the way you want to, because I mean, I never ever wanted it to be, okay, we must, this questionnaire you have to fill up. It has to be in a language which is so casual. It comes out as casual, not that we're doing a survey and we are trying to get some information out of you, but it's a very casual kind of thing. So let's get that going. And once, I mean, next gathering, let's just get whoever we can. And maybe at the next gathering, then we can fix up for the reflective practice circle, because some people will have an interest maybe more in that area. Then you can take the lead in creating that circle and bringing in people for that gathering. The ones who want to work in college, school, commercial, organizational, family. So we'll start creating those circles after that. Let's get the larger thing going. Let's get as many people as we can into that. But the thing with me is that I really want you people to take the lead. I mean, I sent out invitations to a few people so that at least there is some, I know those people, I know you people, I know you wonderful people. So that foundation is strong. But then from there, you have to build it with those people that you also feel are wonderful people who will add value to it. Because any kind of group of people that come together, there are always some people who end up in some way disrupting groups also. Getting a group together is not the easiest thing. And for me, I feel the best way is that as a person, you are gauging someone, and as a wonderful person or a good human being, you're bringing the person in. It's not for any other reason. It can be what might be known as the best mediator in South Africa. But like I said, mediation itself is debatable as to what mediation is. So maybe that the way a person conducts the process, because there are places where people give me feedback as to mediators just push people into settlements. And those kind of mediators also, when they might be doing very well, but that's not the kind of people maybe that we need in this circle. So it's not about any other reason, but as the person. So let's just get good people in. They'll have a role to play, maybe as mediators, as peacemakers, or just participant, because that community has a larger role to play. That's what I'm trying to build on. So it's about that community that we are developing, which will have the larger role. And with, like I said, the long-term mediators as leaders kind of situation that we should be able to reach and redefine politics. That's something which, I mean, maybe short-term, long-term, we don't know when it's going to happen, but let's put things into place. So I mean, thank you very much can happen right now, or people can say what you want. Totally your wish. I am open to anything anyone wants to put across. Bossiki, Alison, if you are wanting to come in, please say something if you want to, or my hands folded. Thank you very much is always an option. Whatever. So please, anyone, anything, last words? Okay, let's go around. Okay, Eugene, last words, anything, thoughts?
Last words, Vikram. I just have to say thank you so much for creating this opportunity. It was absolutely great, and I'm very much looking forward to holding hands with all the other fellow mediators, if they trained, not trained, accredited, not accredited, all with the same mindset in furthering the conversation around not mediation but resolving conflicts or resolving disputes or challenges. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for coming in. And first, let's get the people who are not on video. Bosiki, any last words, any thoughts while leaving? And I'm sure you noted the date. Last Tuesday of the month, right? Yes, Bosiki, please.
My last word, Vikram, is just a big thank you to everyone's contribution to this today's Mediation Circle South Africa, which I think and hope that it will carry us into a great future. And thanks for having you. That's all what I can say for today.
Thank you for coming. And please, everyone, I'm sure you're going to connect with each other. How you're going to find the information, I'll leave it to you. Note the name and search on LinkedIn or whatever. Please do that. But please connect with each other. And of course, we'll meet next time. Alison, any last words? Anything that you would want to? How much time should you give a person to unmute? Yes, Alison has unmuted.
Thank you so much for taking the opportunity to connect us all. It's really a great idea and initiative. And yeah, I look forward to seeing what the future holds and working together with everyone in collaboration.
Are you positive about the future? Then
yes,
the future holds a lot.
It does.
Okay,
it
so
really
you're
does.
positive about it. Good things will happen. If you feel positive, it definitely will do good things.
Yep. Yes. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Alison, for coming. And Lisa.
Pleasure. Thank you.
Yep. Thanks. Lisa, last words of wisdom.
And my last words ever.
Yes, not your last words. I have to be careful about this one, actually.
My last words. I like Eugene said, I'm very much we must do this. We need to start doing it. And I think Viraj touched on it and Eugene as well. Even in law, we learn all the theory and we do this moot court thing and we think we can litigate, and it's very controlled. And so when you actually send these baby lawyers out into a courtroom and they freeze because it's dynamic, it's different. So I'm always challenging myself in the way I do my things, and I do a million things. So I think I'm happy to be part of this action. I think it's an action group. Because myself, when I first got enamored with mediation, I was obviously reading Ken's books and just binging on the theory. And of course, we all know all of the terminology, and I put out a few posts about the stuff. But I'm really, I think, at the heart of it, really happy to be taking action. So not just teaching people about mediation, like you said, Vikram, why it's good, it's cost effective, high turnover, all of that. But we're actually going to be telling people, right? We have the confidence in you as mediators with the mindset, and we're going to help you. We're going to build you up, and of course, you need to identify other people and bring them in. So I'm really excited for once. I know I let it lag for a few years, but I'm really excited to be part of this action group, and where mediation is going to now start happening, and we're going to be, whether it's the more for others group or the group gets bigger, hopefully. But I'm happy to be part of that
I'll have to,
spearheading. Yeah.
I think the terminology is going to be the important part, Lisa. You're not going to say hopefully. It is going to get bigger. It is always going to be positive. It's not without any qualifications. It's going to be a
It
big
is.
circle.
Yes,
Like
it
you
is.
hear me right on LinkedIn also. Let's create a big circle, but a
Yeah.
meaningful circle, a meaningful one. Big without it being meaningful is it doesn't make sense. So yes, a meaningful big circle. Let's do that. Yes, Lisa, positive, good positive words. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah. It is. It is. It's gonna happen.
Okay. So Tracy Lee is going to say what she has to, because Virash is going to get the last word. Last word.
Thank you so much. No, I have nothing more to say, just that it's been a really fascinating 2 hours or over 2 hours discussion. Thoroughly enjoyed it. I think that everyone that has spoken, even those that we can't see, Basiki and Alison, well, we saw you a bit, but goodness, I've just learned so much. There's nuggets of wisdom here that I have heard. And so I'm inspired. So thank you so much, Vikram, and everyone. Thank you.
Yeah, before Virash gives the last word, let me tell you that in terms of finding out information about like the International Reflective Practice Circle, we'll have a gathering of that. So everyone, obviously, for the international ones, the global ones, whoever's interested in that area can come in. So how do you find that information? Please don't make me send out the information to you. On the website, I showed you that section which says Edutainment 2024. I try and put it out in terms of dates. I mean, the chances are I would update it. I do update it, but that'll be very rare that it's not updated. But so just go there. The Zoom link remains the same. So just land up. So don't even have to ask nothing. It's just, and if I don't let you in, it could be two things. I might not have seen you, and I don't want you in. So those are the two things that might happen. So yeah, that little discretionary power I'd have to use, because like I said, inclusive, but not the most inclusive. Okay, so this is where you find it. So this Edutainment 2024. So you'll find it date wise. So you'll see what's happening. And the ones for each country are for people from that country, because that little bonding has to happen. But the international ones, so of course, the last Wednesday of the month, that one and I would want to do one for the International Reflective Practice for sure. And maybe, I don't know, maybe family or commercial, whatever it keeps coming in. Any one of you feels that we need to, one, create it in South Africa and then have the international one, we'll do those gatherings. That's not a problem at all. So please have a look at that, because I know that emails do go into spam. Sending out messages on LinkedIn, in any case, a lot of people don't even read those. So let's find a way. One way is that you can, if you go to my LinkedIn profile and press the bell icon, or whatever posts I put out, you'll get notified on that. I put out some basics on what you can do. There's a newsletter on LinkedIn or whatever, but this place on the website is obviously available for you to check. So yeah. So Virash, last words of wisdom.
Last words of wisdom for tonight, and for everybody who's going to be listening to the recording. My wisdom actually extends to you, Vikram, for allowing us to share all our information and thoughts, and for opening up the floor for people like Basiki and Alison and Eugene and Lisa and Tracy Lee to actually, be a part of this discussion live. I think our thoughts actually formulate, because I remember saying, what questions do you want me to answer this time? And you said, no, just speak.
No, you have to say what I said. I said, just bring your wonderful self, your wonderful, authentic self. That's what I said. That's all that everyone has to bring. Everything, it'll go, it'll flow. Well, we did not know what's going in the next. It'll go on for 2 hours and 20 minutes, whatever. Time is never a factor. Just good conversation happening. That's it.
And I think that's mediator training. You just show up and wait to see what happens. So I think that's what prepares us and brings us to here, because we want to see mediation grow. We want to see mediation being taken seriously and to be given the respect it should be given as a dispute resolution process. And also for mediators to be respected as people who are here to help problem solve, to facilitate these discussions. So I think, thank you to you, Vikram. My words here tonight, and also to anyone who listens to this recording, is your initiative to grow the circle and to bring these words of wisdom from everyone is appreciated. So thank you so much, Vikram, for giving South Africa this opportunity to be with you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And thank you for coming in, and thank you for sharing your words of wisdom. And let us just go out there and bring in those people with the mindset, because you'll really enjoy being with them, because it's the mindset that you're connecting with. So it'll be wonderful. So on the last Wednesday, please join the World Mediator Circle, Mediation Circle gathering. And then the last Tuesday of the month for South Africa. We want to keep it at the last. Last is the best. We won't say fourth or something. We'll say last. So that's easy to remember, right? So thank you very much, and see you soon. Yep.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you,
Bye.
Vikram. Good night, everybody.
Good night. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.